Hey family, thank you so much for joining me for the Daily Dose podcast today. Glad to have you along for the journey. Our verse today is found in Ephesians 5:4. It says this: obscene stories, foolish talk, and coarse jokes. These are not for you. Instead, let there be thankfulness to God. When I was in grade school, we, like most other classes, had a student that was our class clown. He was always doing stuff to get attention, and he was also the king of telling jokes. In the early grades, the jokes were pretty basic, like the knock-knock variety. As we aged, they got a little more complex and developed into a series called What's Grosser Than Gross? As we entered the upper grades of elementary school, the jokes began to morph into something else entirely. We were used to this kid cracking us up, so he had a built-in audience for his newest jokes that included various body parts and activities that are rarely seen in public, if you follow my drift. Yep, he started telling sexual jokes. And like good little sheep, we laughed along with him without hesitation. When we moved into our junior high and high school years, the talk stayed the same, but we weren't telling jokes. Instead, we were telling sexual stories about thoughts that we had towards girls in movies or on TV. And eventually, we began telling sexual fantasies we had about various girls that we went to school with. This is often referred to as locker room talk. Now, I'm ashamed to say that we all took part in sharing our various thoughts on the topic. Looking back and with a heap more perspective, I realize now that though we thought the stories were funny or entertaining, they were also completely immoral. See, God didn't build both genders so that we can turn one another into mere sexual objects of fantasy. This is both degrading to the person being objectified and everyone who hears it. Additionally, this type of objectification leads to other social issues such as a market for pornography, which creates demand for human trafficking, which destroys relationships, which destroys us. So we have to take our verse today to heart. Obscene stories, foolish talk, and coarse jokes, these are not for you. Instead, let there be thankfulness to God. Our focus is not to be on these types of fantasies, but the realities of God. When you hear obscene stories or coarse jokes, stand up for what's right. Don't repeat them. Additionally, be mature enough in your faith to stand up to those who are being objectified. Be strong enough in your faith to gently help those who tell such stories to stop. Be a part of the solution. Don't take part in the locker room talk. Thanks for joining me again for the Daily Dose today, family. Great to have you along for the journey. May you have an extra blessed day.